Good morning, students. Am I audible? Okay. Okay, so last class we left at types of cement, right? So we'll continue with that. Let me share my screen. My screen is visible. Okay. So last class we were at which cement to use, then types of cement. So we'll discuss some cement briefly today. Okay. How many students joined? 24. Okay, let's continue. So ordinary Portland cement. Uh, Ordinary Portland cement. It is the most commonly, let me change the color. Okay. So it is the most commonly produced and used cement. It is available in three different grades. So you will, this is easily available in the market. You will get three different grades, 43, 53, and one more was 43 and 53 is mostly common. Okay, you will get in the market. Now rapid hardening cement. It is also called early strength cement because its 3 day strength is almost equal to 7 day strength of OPC. Okay, its 3 day strength is almost equal to 7 day strength of OPC. So one type of this cement is manufactured by adding calcium chloride to the OPC in small proportion. So if you add CaCl2 calcium chloride to the OPC, it will also give you a rapid hardening cement. Calcium chloride should not be more than 0.2%. In RHC, the strength development is very fast. This is because of following reasons. So, see the name itself saying rapid hardening. So, in this type of cement is it hardens very quickly and it gives strength in 3 days itself. The strength you get in 7 days with the OPC, you will get strength with RHC in 3 days. Okay. Now, the reason of its hardening is this: higher fineness of cement. Specific surface of this cement is increased to 320 meter square per kg as compared to 225 meter square per kg for OPC. So the surface area of this cement is vary. So as it has larger surface area, the heat hydration will be more and it will get strengthened. Right. High quality of C3S in cement as compared to C2S dot C3S is more reactive in comparison to C2S. So it has the quantity, as we see the composition of cement, it has C3S and C2S. So in RHSC, the quantity of C3S is more compared to C2S. And C3S is more reactive in comparison if you compare the both C3NS, C2S. Now, these are some examples where rapid hardening were used. Basically, it is used in large as construction where you need to work quickly. Now, this cement is recommended in prefabricated construction where you have to remove the formwork very early. In road repairs, okay. If CR is in the group, inform all that I won't allow students. How much is the time? After 9:30, I won't allow the students and I'll lock the room. So please put a message in the group. Okay, that I won't allow students after 9:30. So if they want to enter, they can enter. Later I won't allow, and they shouldn't text me that ma'am we couldn't enter. Okay, I have opened the group till 9:30. After 9:30, I won't allow anyone. If you can pass, anyone can pass my message. Please pass. Okay. Okay. So let's continue. So this cement is recommended where the prefabricated construction is required. Prefabricated, that means it is it is suppose you nowadays in bridge construction, the girders, the components of the means parts of the bridge are uh, already prefabricated on site. Then they just transported it from the factory to the site and they just placed it. You don't need to prefabricate. It is already fabricated in the past. Okay, and where you have to remove the formwork very early. In road repair works, where suppose you cannot block the road, if it is the important road you need to repair it, so you cannot block the road, right? The whole day or whole 2 3 days. So if you use rapid hardening, it will set quickly, then you can allow the traffic after that. Now in cold weather, where heat generation will be helpful in preventing freezing. So these are the four places where you can rapid hardening cement very effectively. Now they have explained a bit. The sulfate present in the soil or surrounding environment reacts with free Ca2 available in the concrete, and this is the phenomena why uh, it should it gets hardened. So the CH thus produced reacts with hydride of calcium aluminate and form an expensive compound called calcium sulfate, sulfoaminate, which causes expansion and cracks in the set cement. Sulfate attack is further accelerated if it is accompanied by alternate wetting and drying also, which normally takes place in marine structure of the tidal zone. So it is saying in the large construction, marine construction, or you can say bridge piers. So this reaction, the sulfate present in the soil or surrounding environment. So in the bridge piers, they get affected with the soil or water. Okay, so they make a reaction. So you have to take care of that also. They've explained this. Just go through once. Then see erosion. You can say silting also. You can say these are the piers, hydraulic structures. They get attacked with the sulfate present in the surroundings and they get deteriorated. A sulfate resistant cement number we have discussed B. Then sulfate resistant cement that is coming. Okay. It is modified form of OPC and is specially manufactured to resist the sulfates. As just remember that sulfates are very harmful for cement. Okay, cement construction. In certain region areas where water and soil may have alkaline contents, an OPC is liable to disintegrate because of an unfavorable chemical reaction between cement and water. SRC is used. This cement contains a low percentage of C3A, not more than 0.5%. The quantity of C3A can be controlled simply by blending OPC with slag cement. So the quantity of C3A should be less. And where if sulfate amount, the place where you are constructing, if their sulfate amount is more and more, then you can opt for this kind of cement. Now the limitation of this cement is this cement requires longer period of curing. Okay, why? All the chemical reactions go through it. It develops strength slowly, but ultimately it is as strong as OPC. Okay, so it requires longer period of curing. Curing means it needs the action of water for longer time. Okay, the curing. Hope you all know. Are you familiar with the word curing? 34 students. I need response.
Yes, ma'am.
Only one. What about the others? You know about curing or not? Have you heard the term curing?
Yes, ma'am.
What about others? Roll number 3, 40, 54, 2, 77, 70, 83. All are sleeping. Hmm? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Fine. Let me add some students. They came now. Okay. So this is recommended in marine condition where both sulfate and chloride attacks are there. Then construction of sewage treatment plants, foundation and basement in soil having sulfate attack, and chemical factories. So these are the recommendation where you can use SRC. Now next is Portland slag cement. It is produced by blending OPC clinkers with slag in suitable proportion and grinding together. The proportion will be 20 to 25%. The slag can be separately added to OPC while making concrete. This slag can also be separately to OPC while making concrete. So basically, Portland cement is a combination of OPC plus slag, and the proportion of slag should be 20 to 25%. And the limitation of this is it develops strength slowly, but ultimately it is strong as OPC. So it is basically kind of same. The limitation is same with SRC, that it also develops strength very slowly, but it is more strong than OPC. Now this cement is recommended in sewage disposal work, water treatment plants where low heat cement is required, and where high chloride and sulfate attack is there. Next is Portland pozzolana cement. It is produced by blending OPC clinkers with pozzolana in suitable proportion and grinding together. It also develops strength slowly, but it is as strong as OPC. Pozzolana essentially means a siliceous material having no cementing properties in itself, but in finely divided form it reacts with calcium hydroxide in presence of water at ordinary temperature and form compounds possessing cementing properties. In this process, calcium hydroxide is also utilized, which otherwise is destined to leaching out of concrete, leaving a porous and weaker concrete. So this is the reactions how pozzolana has been formed. Now generally fly ash, volcanic ash, etc. are used as pozzolanas. Okay. It is easier to grind together OPC clinkers with pozzolana than mixing the pozzolana afterwards at the time of mixing. So if you add the pozzolana in clinkers for mixing, that will be easy rather than to hand mix pozzolana with PC. Mixing afterward is difficult because of pozzolana being finer than cement. Okay. You can means earlier we have studied in slag cement that you can use OPC and slag before making a concrete. Okay, but in pozzolana you cannot add at the time of mixing. You have to add the pozzolana in the clinker itself. Now these are some advantages: less heat of hydration, reduce leaching of calcium hydroxide as it is utilized in reaction with pozzolana. It can be used at most all the places where OPC is used. So this is you can PPC you can see it is also called as PPC. So PPC is used places where OPC can be used. Okay. Now quick setting cement. It is to be laid under water. Quick setting cement is to be used. Where water action is there, you can use quick setting. The cement is manufactured by adding small amount of aluminum sulfate, which accelerates the setting action. So just remember, Al2SO4 is the key factor in setting the cement. Okay, the cement can also be produced by not adding gypsum to OPC. The setting action of such cement starts within 5 minutes after addition of water, and it becomes stone hard in less than half an hour. So Al2SO4 is the main key factor in quick setting cement. Now, low heat cement. In this cement, the heat of hydration is reduced by tricalcium content. So, it contains percentage of lime than ordinary Portland cement. Less percentage of lime. It is used for mass concrete work such as dam. So, for dams, you used low heat cement. So, just remember which cement can be used at what location. Okay. Now, white cement. This cement is called snowcrete. As iron oxide gives the grey color to cement, it is therefore necessary for white cement to keep the content of iron oxide as low as possible. So the main ingredient for coloring of cement is your iron oxide. So in a white cement, you have to be careful that you should keep the percentage of iron oxide as low as possible. Limestone and china clay free from iron oxide are suitable for its manufacturing. It is costlier than OPC and it is mainly used for architectural finishing in the buildings. There you have see some ceilings, right? Ceilings designs, white ceilings designed. So there they use white cement. Now various tests of cement. There it is categorized under two category: field test and laboratory test. Now you can say period of storage fresh strength with respect to 28 days was at 100%. Then in 3 months, its strength reduced to 80. In 6 months, it reduced to 70%. In 12th month, it reduced to 60%, and in 24 months, it reduced to 50%. So basically, based on your date of manufacture, your strength of cement get decreases if time extends. One feels cool by trusting one's this is basically your physical test. Okay, field test. Under that, suppose you can say that suppose the date of manufacturing is from 3 months, so its strength will be 80%. Suppose you are going to the field and you see that the manufacturing of cement was 12 months ago, then you can say that it has only 60% strength in it. Okay, then one feels cool by trusting one's hand in the cement bag. You should feel cool when you put your hand to the in the in the cement bag. It is smooth when rubbed in between fingers. When you rub the small amount of cement between your fingers, it should be smooth. A handful of cement thrown in a bucket of water should float. So basically these are different your you can say physical test or field test on cement. Now you have to study fineness test, consistency test, setting time test, soundness test, compressive strength test. I hope these all are we have been studied in this material testing lab. Okay, so you study once more by yourself. Now about the aggregate, just tell me, how would you differentiate between coarse aggregate and fine aggregate? Those who will speak, I'll give the class. You have some marks for your class interaction also. I hope you all know. In the sessional breakup, you have some marks for class interaction also. Now tell me, what is the different? How can you differentiate coarse aggregate and fine aggregate? Uh, by examining through sieve analysis. Okay. Any other answers? Sapam responded sieve analysis. Okay. Less than 4.7 mm IS sieve is fine aggregate. Good.
Ma'am, example of fine aggregate is sand.
And coarse aggregate is?
That stone that which we used to put along with the cement in concrete.
Yeah, but I am asking the basic difference. How can you differentiate? That is the technical term.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
if the aggregates pass through sieve number 4.75 mm, then if it's fine aggregate, and if it's retained on the sieve, then it's coarse aggregate.
yes, yes, yes. Okay, so you all know about this. Good. So those who responded, good. So see, this is not the way to what I say. मैं मार्क्स के लिए तुम लोग को वो नहीं बोल रहा, जस्ट आई वांट टू नो दैट यू शुड नो अबाउट दिस. If I अगर मैं if I teach you blindly that assuming that you guys know all about this, because these you have got in your soil lab, transportation lab also, I guess. So in material testing lab also. So that's just I want to confirm that you remember all this. Okay, if you don't, if I assume that you know and just I'm saying that this is this, you study this, you know, and saying that you know this, so it will be wrong, right? So just I'm confirming that you know or not. Obviously those who are responding, they will get the this class interaction marks. Rather all the students after you means after some students only response, others used to just came here for attendance only. So, okay, so you study crushing strength, impact, I know impact value, flakiness, elongation, and abrasion. All these 5 tests has been you have you gotten your transportation 2 lab. Still, if you have any doubt, let me know in next class. Okay, so I'll move to the next topic, cement mortar. So we studied about lime mortar. Now let's move to the cement mortar. So the paste is prepared by mixing cement and sand in suitable proportion in addition to water. So in cement was just the replacement. If you replace the cement with lime, so it will be lime mortar. And if you replace the lime with cement, it is cement mortar. The general proportion is 1 part of cement to 2 to 8 parts of clean sand. So this is the proportion, perfect proportion in this uh, cement mortar. 1 part of cement, that if 1 is to 2 or 1 is to 3, 1 is to 4 till 1 is to 8 you can take for cement mortar. These mortar must be used within half an hour, that is before initial setting time of the cement. This type is used for all engineering works where high strength is desired, such as load bearing walls, deep foundation, flooring, etc. These are the places where you use cement mortar. Sorry. Okay. When mixing by hand, the sands and cements are heaped up on a mixing board or in a wheelbarrow and repeatedly turned over and over until thoroughly mixed. So if you see the figure, they mix the sand and cement and sand, and they used to make an heap and heap. They used to mix thoroughly. And what they used to do, they used to mix thoroughly the dry materials. The color of the dry mix will change as the cement is distributed throughout. There should be no streaking of cement and no clumps of pure sand and pure cement. Once the dry ingredients are mixed, the water can be added. So see, first they have made the heap of sand and cement. This is a mix. They used to make some like a hole between them. Then used to place water, and with the help of trowel. Let me note. This is, see, they used to make a space between like this. They used to pour the water and they used to mix from the sideways. If you remember any in any sites, from with the help of trowel, they used to place all the cement or cement sand mix like this in the in between. Then after that, this is the final product. Dry sand and cement and wheelbarrow. Okay, wheelbarrow, it is a kind of equipment you can they used to transport the motor. Being to mix sand and cement, they are mixing thoroughly. Mix to evenly distribute cement. The dry mix should be all one color. So all should be in one color. Add water and plasticizer. If you want any plasticizer, you can add. So see, in between they have placed, and this is the mix to required consistency. So make and paste of required consistency. When using a machine mixed, add half a bucket of clean cold water to the empty drum before adding the dry ingredients in sequence. Add 4 measures of sand, then one of cement. That is, it is using 1 is to 4, followed by 4 sand, then another cement, and so on until the required quantity is in mixture. So this is the mixture they used for preparing the sand mortar or concrete. This ensure a more thorough mix than adding. So this machine can also be used for mixing. Okay, so for wide joints in paving or stonework, either as paving or as walling, a coarser mortar is often preferred. Replace. Okay, so this is in basically in plastering, a thick mortar is used, or for joints in the wall, you use thick paste. Okay. Now there is some special mortars, fire resistant, lightweight, packing, sound absorbing mortar, or X-ray shielding mortar. So you may have seen some rooms or halls which absorb sound, acoustic, in basically in halls, auditorium, they use soundproofing walls, right? So they use sound absorbing mortar. Now, fire resistance, the paste is prepared by mixing aluminum cement and freshly crushed fire bricks in suitable proportion in addition to water. So 1 is to 2 part, they used to use the proportion is 1 is to 2. They are generally used for lining furnaces, ovens, and fireplaces with fire bricks. Lightweight mortar, this is prepared by mixing wood powder, wood shaving, or sawdust with cement or lime mortar. In such mortars, fibers of jute wire or asbestos fibers can also be used. These are generally used as fiber plasters in sound and heat proof construction. So basically, in lightweight mortar, they used to with cement. They used to instead of sand, they used to mix wood powder or sawdust. You can say not sand. Instead of sand, they can use sawdust or wood powder so that the weight of the mortar can be reduced, and it can be used in fiber plasters in sound and heat proof construction. Now, various as you as you
What is
uh,
wood powder?
yes,
Wood powder means
wood powder means you can say that powder you get from those burning all the woods. Okay, let me go through. Yeah, that is the wood powder. So next, as you have seen many tests on cement, sand, like that, you have test on motors also. So some figures is shown here. Test for adhesiveness to building units. So it is okay. So these are the various tests for here. Okay, wood powder. Okay, not the burning by burning wood powder. Okay, if you burn, it will turn into ashes, right? So that the wood powder will be when you shovel woods. So, you must have seen that those when mystery is to make those construction the frame of window, frame of door, they used to I'll show you a picture next time. Have you remember anything when you construct your home, then for when some laborers came for this construction of the frame of window, frame of door, they used to take out some layers of wood for smooth surface. Yes, 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 yes. Powder coming out of showing the woods. So that powder is actually wood powder. My bad. Not the burning the woods. That wood sawing. Okay. So test for mortar is a test for adhesiveness to building units. How much adhesive it is. Then crushing strength of mortar to determine the tensile strength of mortar. These are the some tests on mortar. So for test for adhesiveness to building units, two bricks are placed at right angles to each other. Mortars is placed to join them so as to form a horizontal joint. If size of the brick is this, a horizontal joint of this will be formed. The upper brick is suspended from an overhead support and a board is hung from the ends of the lower brick. The board is loaded till the joint between the brick fails. So it shows they used to join two bricks with this mortar, and they used to held held in one hand, and they used to see if that the lower brick is to fell or not. So that is the adhesiveness, how much glue, how much one brick is glued to another one with the help of mortar. So the ultimate adhesive strength of mortar is obtained by dividing maximum load by area of contact. Now, the crushing strength, you can check brick masonry or stone masonry laid in mortar to be tested are crushed in compression machine. The load applied at which the masonry crushes gives the crushing strength of the mortar present in the masonry. So when suppose brick masonry, masonry, when you use the word masonry, so you can take some bricks those are joined with mortar, and you can take that bricks with mortar to the compression machine, and you can see how much load you are applying and at what load it gets break. It is same like compressive strength test. Now this is the tensile and cohesive strength test. The mortar mold is what is prepare? Okay, the mortar mold is prepared in a briquette as shown. This is the elevation. This is it is prepared in this shape. The tensile strength of mortar mold is tested in a tension. So it extends the mortar in different in opposite direction. The cross section area of sample taken for testing is this much. That's all for this topic. We'll continue in the next topic.